It's Patrina again with Do You Have a Couple of Minutes? And today I want to know if you have a couple of minutes to continue our series on building strong relationships with part two, where we're diving into the concept of grace. But before we get started, I just want to remind you again about my upcoming retreat, which is going to be on Saturday, November 9th in Palm Springs. It's called Authentic Alignment. It's a time for you to really invest in yourself, to just come back to center, to realign with the things that matter to you, to make sure that you can be on track moving forward with the things that you really want to do. So it'll be a time for you to gain some clarity, really be able to uh, commit to what you want to do going forward with great confidence because you've spent that time to invest in you. There'll also be some time for you to just unwind, relax, so that you'll be able to focus on the things that we will be working on that day. So I hope you'll check that out. It's again, Authentic Alignment on Saturday, November 9th in Palm Springs. You can check out the show notes for information or check out my website. It is patrinagooch.com/events, and you can find information there on that upcoming retreat. But let's get into our topic today, which is on grace. And grace is really about allowing ourselves and others room to make some mistakes, room for some imperfection. And it's really about forgiving those missteps and being able to look beyond those flaws that so that we can continue moving forward. There was a study done by the Mayo Clinic that really highlighted how extending forgiveness can actually reduce stress. It can lead to better physical health and greater life satisfaction. So I thought today I would share with you a story about the extension of grace. And I can use a scenario from my career. So, I've had several situations or scenarios in my career where maybe a leader just hasn't shown up as their best self, which, is normal. People can have bad days. Even though people have bad days, that's not really an excuse for people to treat others disrespectfully. But in this case, there was someone that showed up. They were just not in a good space, and they interacted in a way that was inconsistent with their normal style. And the others in the room, along with me, noticed this, and we were taken aback by it, but we kind of went through the meeting session and tried to make up for it. But we followed up with that individual, and we followed up with them to first check in and see what was going wrong, because there was nothing that we had ever demonstrated as a group that would indicate that the behavior that that individual had demonstrated was warranted or was accepted. And we saw that behavior as something that was inconsistent with what the situation dictated. There was nothing in the situation that should have brought out that kind of behavior. Um, Fortunately, that individual was just not having a good day, not having a good approach, but they were appreciative of us coming to them in a manner that was respectful, but that also demonstrated some grace, also allowed them to own their mistake, be accountable to that behavior. They ended up apologizing for that behavior, both to the internal folks in the room and an external person that was also in the room at that time. And then everybody was on notice, especially this person that was out of line, as to what the expectation was moving forward. So allowing there to be grace in the room, understanding that mistakes happen, that things will happen that are unintended or that shouldn't occur, and holding people accountable to that, but at the same time, extending that grace that they can be forgiven and we can expect better going forward, allows us to move forward in our relationships with those folks with a sense of confidence because we've directly confronted the issue, but at the same time, we have allowed that person the ability to do better, to start from that point and move forward. So, grace does not excuse imperfection, but it actually creates a path forward. It understands that there will be mistakes, there will be imperfections, but that we can move on from that. So I want you to think about that. Think about the opportunities where you have that you can actually come from a place of providing grace to an individual so that you can build a relationship and move forward instead of creating an obstacle that keeps you from being your best or keeps others from being their best in community with one another. And with that, that is my few minutes for today. I hope that you found that this has been a topic that's been inspiring, something to help you think, learn, grow, and ultimately lead a more fulfilling life. And I hope that if you are enjoying these messages, that you will share them with others so that they can come along our learning journey as well. Please be sure to check out the show notes for a summary of today's session, as well as contact information if you'd like to be in touch with me and information on my most recent publications. And as always, I'm very appreciative of you joining me here today, and I sure hope to see you back next time. Until then, bye-bye.